Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In the name of Allah, the most compassionate, the most merciful. May Allah's peace and blessings be upon the Holy Prophet of Islam, Muhammad, and his immaculate family and progeny. Dear brother and sister, Assalamu alaikum, and welcome to yet another edition from the series of Quran and Today's Life. As you might have already been following these series of programs, we're discussing some Quranic issues, some, let's say, in fact, subjects that we have on our discussion concerning the points that we can catch and extract from the teachings of Quran. For sure, we are trying to extract some useful and practical information benefiting from the commentaries of the Holy Quran and the teachings of the school of Ahlul Bayt. In our recent programs, we have started a discussion concerning the training points that we can have from a Quranic perspective. The respected expert of the program, that is Hujjatul Islam Muhammadi, was helping us with his scholarly elaborations on the questions that we pose in this program. We have started a discussion with the question about the importance and the excellence of the discussion, whether these sort of discussions are needed for today's life or not. Before going to our discussion and posing the first question, I'd like to welcome Hujjatul Islam Muhammadi to this show and ask him to have his introductory remarks. After that, inshallah, we'll have an overview with the issues that we have discussed already. Mr. Muhammadi, assalamu alaikum, and welcome to this show.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Wa bihi nasta'in wa salatu wa salamu ala sayyidina wa nabiyyina wa habibi qulubina wa tabibi nufusina Muhammadin wa alihi at-tahirin. I would like to offer my greetings to you.
Thank you.
And to the respected viewers, and this is a pleasure to be here with you.
Thank you very much. As you might remind, we have talked about the importance of the discussion, and we said that this is not just merely because we are Muslims or monotheists. We are, having such discussions, and we are trying to, in fact, catch some information from Quran. But it is a necessity that we feel for our today's life. We need some guidelines from the Quranic perspective to know how to, in fact, tackle it in our today's life, and how to, in fact, use the teachings that Quran gave us in trainings of our children. Also, again, I just want to remember the respected viewers, you just remind, we have said that we have three kinds of interactions in regard to, one's, in fact, activities with his own, atmosphere that he is in. That is interaction of person with his, family or others, and interaction of a person with the God, the creator of him or her, and his own or his, interactions with his own self or oneself. Can you please tell us, concerning the importance of the discussion, and after that, inshallah, we shall have some detailed questions in this regard.
Okay. As you said, we talked about this issue in the first session that we had in this series, and we elaborated on this point that, as you already said, that we are not discussing these issues as just Muslims or monotheist people, okay? Because we are human beings,
yeah,
and we have different desires, and we want to satisfy these desires. And most of the time, these desires come to a sort of conflict, okay?
Mm-hmm,
and
sure.
A sort of tension and quarrel between people, because I want to satisfy my desires and you want to satisfy yours. And most of the times, my desires are on your way, and I have to be on the other side. So these desires, and to make a sort of peace between people, we have to have some rules, okay, and some bases. And we said and we mentioned that the best choice to refer to is the creator of human being, okay, because he knows who he has created, okay. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I think, is the best reference to this in order for this point. And the Holy Quran, of course, is maybe the best choice to refer to, because there is a consensus about the Holy Quran that all of Muslims, they believe in unalteredness of the Holy Quran. It is not being altered during history, okay. So, and this is not the case about the traditions, and we have to we have to examine the authenticity of riwayat and traditions. So we came to this agreement that we inshallah go to the Quran, to the Holy Quran, and talk about the training issues from the Quran's perspective.
Exactly.
And we, as you said, we talked about the three kinds of interaction and relationship one might have.
Right.
The first one was with interactions that one have with the other side, okay, with the
people,
others, people,
family.
all people, and even not just people. Even it might be this relationship might be with animals, because we have some training
the whole
issues.
environment around
Yes, and the other one, the second one, number two, was the interaction and the relationship somebody might have with his creator, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and the last one was the interaction he has with himself or herself, okay? And we were talking about the interaction and the training points that one can have with others, and we started, and since the first other that we come into contact with is our family, we started with family, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we talked about venerating parents and respecting parents, okay, because parents are the most important members of the family, and we talked about the responsibilities of children towards their parents. And inshallah, this session and maybe a couple of sessions, we will talk about the responsibilities which are on the shoulder of parents towards their children.
Okay, but the question that may come to mind, it's that the teachings of our Quran are the teachings of Quran are 4,400 years back. Don't you think that the things and settings have been changed? We need some new and modern and updated kinds of teachings for our today's life. Don't you think that the teachings that we receive from, let's say, Quran and its commentators, that these are the Ahlul Bayt of the Prophet, are a bit outdated rather than being updated?
It's a very interesting question, and it's been raised in some environments, mostly Western environments. It's a good question to raise, I think. I think to answer this question, I have to provide you with a sort of preliminary step or preliminary facts, and then I will go to the answer of this question. First of all, you have to know that there are at least 4 major environments or factors that are important in upbringing children, okay, raising children. The first one is family, of course. Family is the most important, maybe one of the most, or maybe the most important one among the other factors that I'm inshallah refer to. Family is so important, okay. And the second one, the second environment or the second factor that is so important in child upbringing, okay. The second one is the educational environment, okay, school, preschool, etc. It's so important. It has to be taken into consideration, okay. Yeah. And the third one is the society the child is living in, okay. So his or her friends, they live in society. He has contact with these people, the other people, relatives, okay, the relatives of this child or his or her parents, and the last one, or the number four is the media. Okay, the media has a very crucial role in upbringing children nowadays.
Okay. So how about the innate power of one? Human beings have different capabilities, and can we? Put a role for these capabilities, personal capabilities of a person, inside the category that you have just defined. You said that family is one of the important factors. The other one was media, schooling, schoolmates, or let's say classmates and different friends that one may have during the school time, and also media. So how about the innate powers?
Yeah.
Is there any role for that?
Actually, there is. The inner power and the nature of that child that is going to be raised or that is going to be upbrought, okay, is so important. But we are talking about the other, okay, the environment that child is being brought up. So these 4 outside, let me put it in this way. External factors that has impact on children has to be taken into consideration. Okay.
Good.
So in order to help you with the question that you asked, I have to say Somebody might say, we did not have media at the time of Prophet, the Holy Prophet, and at the time of our 14 infallibles. Okay, so how could it be solved, this problem? How can we go to the riwayat and to the hadith and take benefit from the riwayat with regard to the media, which has a very crucial impact on our children?
Exactly.
About internet, you know that the internet is, maybe I can put it in this way, that our children in the virtual space, they expend their time more in virtual space than that they
in their family
in their families and the real space or real environments. Okay, so how can we solve this problem? Okay, so I have to answer your question in this way: that about the two of these factors, being family and society.
True.
There is not so much difference. Okay, there are some differences between the society we are living in and the society that the Holy Prophet and his progeny were living in. Okay, there are some differences, but the difference is not that much. Okay, and about the family, it's almost the same. Okay, so the pointers that exist in the traditions and the Holy Quran with regard to the family, the first and the foremost factor, and about the society, they are almost the same. So there are just two ones.
Well, the societies cannot be the same, because the society that the Holy Prophet was living in was, a small society in comparison with the society that we are in today.
Yeah. And why is it broader in this time? Because of the media, because of the last one, because of the communication. This is the age of communication. Okay, true. So the last one, and inshallah I will refer to this point. So these two factors remain. Okay, first one is the educational system, that it was not that much at that time. It was not that complicated, the educational system at the time of Holy Prophet and the time of infallibles. Although there were some indications about educational system. For example, you can see that in the time of the Holy Prophet and even before that, okay, some people who wanted their children to be religious people, they would put their children in some religious and sacred places like temples, just like what happened to the Lady Maryam, salamullahi alayha. So this is about the educational system, preschool and school. And the last one, the media. How can we solve this problem?
Since concerning the importance of the issue, the media, because I think most of the families are involved in solving such problems, and they really like to have a good solution. I'd like to invite you to have a short break. After that, inshallah, we shall discuss it in detail. Please do stay tuned with us. We'll be back in a few seconds. You're most welcome to Quran and Today's Life, and the show that we have with the presence of experts from Qom Seminary Schools. Jatul Islam Muhammadi, the respected expert of the program and Islamic scholar, was elaborating on the importance of the discussion and the question that we pose in this program, that is concerning the validity or practicality of the Quranic teachings in today's life. The question was that whether these teachings of Quran can be applicable for today's life or not. And in fact, he introduced some 4 factors which are very crucial in training, and he wanted to give us some more guidelines how to grasp some information from Quran teachings. Jazak Muhammadi, thank you.
Yeah. Actually, the question was like this, that we're talking about the training issues with regard to upbringing children, not generally. This question is raised at that in that area as well, but we're just talking about this short area that is upbringing children. So this question, I think, could be answered with having in mind this preliminary fact, that these 4 steps are these 4 factors that exist in the process of upbringing children. 2 of them, okay, which were first the family and the society, are almost the same. I'm not saying that the society is not bigger than that time. No, I'm not saying that. It is bigger, but why is it bigger? Is it huger and complicated? It's because of the media. And because of the communication. I mean by media a broad sense, not media just TV or something like that. Now, all of the means of communication, I mean. Mm-hmm. So it remained just 2 of them. The educational system, okay, that was not, as I already said, that it was not so complicated at that time, okay, and the media, the internet that they use, even the video game our children play, okay, it's a very crucial and important fact to understand. Does the Holy Quran
have any answer to this question?
Have any answer to this question or not?
Any solutions? Yeah. For those who are in fact concerned for their trainings of their children, to see, is there any answer from Quranic perspective in this regard?
I would say yes. Okay. How? About the two first, okay, which was the family and the society that I said, there are so many riwayat and so many hadith and ayat with regard to the family and the responsibilities of families and the society with regard to and respecting to the upbringing children.
True.
And even if we go to the riwayat, maybe there are volumes of books and the legacy that we have with regard to this fact is a very huge legacy. But about the other 2, media and society, an educational system, there might not be some detailed and exact point about these 2 because they were not, they didn't exist at that time.
True.
Yet there are so many general points, training general points with regard to training points that can be used and can be made used up in this matter. I mean, bringing up children. Okay, so although there are not some exact, for example, tradition that talks about media or internet. Okay, it is not like this, but there are some general points that these upbringing issues and upbringing implications exist in these riwayat.
So you mean these rules can be applied to all, such activities that we do have today?
Yes.
But I just want to emphasize that our discussion is based on Quranic teachings rather than the narrations and the hadith that we receive from the Ahlul Bayt, peace be upon them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And this is what we are trying to do in these sessions. We are going to broaden a little bit the perspective of understanding of the Holy Quran. Okay, the Holy Quran is not just the verses that we recite. Okay, we recite and sometimes ponder upon. Okay, it's not just that verse and the translation of it, or maybe some commentary about that verse. It's not like this. If we contemplate on that verse, okay, on the verses of the Holy Quran, we will grasp so many pointers about these things, okay? So inshallah, I will talk about some of them, and you will see, inshallah, that how can we understand many new information from the Holy Quran that we did not know about them, okay? So, but my concentration in this session, inshallah, and maybe a couple of sessions, will be on the first element and factor, which was family. Okay, and I'm inshallah, I'm telling you why family is one of the most or the most one.
Okay,
and inshallah, it might take. If I want to go to the riwayat, as I said, there are so many riwayat. Okay. And this is not our title to talk about.
Exactly.
Inshallah, we will refer to
one of... We can use the commentary or the interpretations that Ahlul Bayt, within the riwayat had on some verses for us.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
We will. But about the riwayat themselves, which are not actually with regard to the some certain verses, we will not talk about them because this is not the actually the responsibility of this series. We're going, inshallah, to the Holy Quran. Inshallah, we will talk about these commentaries that you have said about them. And sometimes we may go to the riwayat, which have some views on these verses.
These, 4 factors that you mentioned, can we start with family and have a look at, Quranic teachings in this regard first?
Yeah, exactly. Inshallah, I will start with family. And why is it so important to start with family? I just want to tell you one important fact. Psychologists, they say more than 50% of one's characteristic and personality is built within his 7 years of his life.
The first
7 years of his life, okay? More than 50%. It's so much, okay? And most of the time, children spend these 7 years at their home, okay?
Exactly.
And after that, they go to school. And sometimes maybe they go to preschool, but most of the time, they are at home and they have relationship with their parents, their father and their mother. So I think the family is the most important factor in upbringing children.
No doubt.
Okay? So inshallah, I will talk about some factors and some pointers, training pointers, which is our discussion in this series, about the upbringing children from the perspective of family responsibility.
Okay. So I want to ask you to tell us, what are the exact points that we can have from teachings of Quran. What should we do and what should not we do? And what are the shoes and should nots here? Can you please, list or explain or whatever you think? If you have any order in your mind, can you please give us here?
As you said, inshallah, I will divide this pointers, these training pointers with regard to upbringing children or children raising into 2 divisions, 2 parts. The first one, the things that we have to do, okay? The responsibilities that parents and family have, and they have to do these responsibilities and undertake these responsibilities in order for having better children, okay? Mm-hmm. And the second part, inshallah, will be the sort of threats, okay?
Yeah.
And challenges that they might face in the way of upbringing children. So, inshallah, I will start with the first and the number 1, which was the issues that are important, positive issues that should be taken into consideration with regard to upbringing children.
And for the parents at the first
For the parents, yes. We're talking about families and especially about parents. Yeah. The first point that has to be considered and has to be taken into consideration by parents is this point, that one of the facts and realities that exist in human's nature, okay, and it's not confined to a certain part of the world or a certain, for example, race or something, okay? It is in human's nature. It's about human's nature is liking to have a role model, okay? Mm-hmm. All human beings, whether they know it or not, okay, and like it or not,
they're following something.
They're following something, and they have this tendency to follow someone, okay, having a role model in their life. And this actually training point, it's a sort of training point, is appreciated in Islam as well. Let me elaborate on this point a little bit. You know, in Western countries, you see that they make use of, for example, this tendency of human being. It is not just for children to make or to create a role model. There are so many actually. What do they call it? Cartoons or something like, for example, animations that they try to create and make up some.
They take their own models from these, personalities or figures that they may have in their cartoons or films.
Yeah, they try to create the role model for their children.
From
okay,
this side.
from by the media. Okay, I'm not talking about the purpose they're seeking, okay? There are so many bad purposes behind this sort of creating a role model. For example, they want their people to have a certain tendency toward war.
How can
okay?
we feel this, role model in our Islamic teachings?
Inshallah, I will talk about it. And let me finish.
So sorry for that, because I think we're at the last seconds of this program. I just wanted to give us a very short answer to this question. Inshallah, we shall continue this discussion in our next program.
So just wrap it up in this way, that the fact that having a role model is so important, and Islam has appreciated this
And
fact,
does it introduce any?
And has introduced some role models, and we'll talk about these entries, and inshallah in the following session.
Thank you very much, and thanks for accepting our invitation to this program, and thank you, dear viewers, for following this session and our discussion concerning training points that we may catch from the teachings of Quran. In fact, with blessings that we may receive from the school of Ahlul Bayt. Inshallah, you will be following, inshallah, our next discussion and the rest of our discussion concerning the factors that Hujjatul Islam Muhammadi introduced, the 4 factors that we are going to, inshallah, discuss in depth concerning the teachings that we may grasp. Thanks again. Till our next show, have a very good time. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.